Hey everybody, it's another week. We got some new great tips. How you guys been this week?
Good, Mitch. How you doing, bud?
Oh, stellar.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Mitch. Todd, I seen you were fishing today. Seen that live scope going. That looks sick, bro.
Oh man, that live scope is a game changer.
What a tool, hey?
Woo!
We were
Yeah,
talking on here just before we came on, and Todd was saying like it was like so perfect that like you could tell the size of the fish, and he'd come out of the hole, measure him up quick, and bang, that fish was bang on. Like that's cool
Yeah,
stuff, man.
yeah, it's super cool. I mean, being able to size a fish and really being able to target based on that, I think is going to be huge, especially for some of the trout stuff we'll be doing later this winter. Man, it's crazy how accurate it
Jig
is.
and walleyes, you'll see that pike come in, and you can just keep it away from them.
the
Yeah,
old duck
well,
and weave.
I think the biggest advantage for it really is going to be Lakers.
Oh
When,
yeah.
when,
Yeah,
when you're in the middle of a hot streak, you're going to be able to kind of size up what fish is what and really be able to target um, the bigger one.
with
Absolutely.
with being at those depths, do you think it's gonna perform to that like the depths you were in today to those 100 foot of water, or do you think it's gonna have a little lag? Or
I I would suspect that it will probably have a little bit of lag, but I don't know. I mean, we were fishing, pretty shallow today.
yeah,
Um, and if it performs anything like what it did in shallow water, I do not think it's going to be an issue.
even when you get that first fish, you'll be able to judge either way and be able to tell your marks, I guess.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. I think, the only thing that and it's probably just because I'm used to a flasher and I'm used to having some bar graphs. I got rid of my GT10 transducer for that, and I kind of wish I hadn't have. But to some degree, it's probably a blessing because it forces me to use this. I didn't realize I didn't have my bracket tightened up, so I wasn't able to use side scan very well. But down scan was the ticket, man. It was awesome.
They are awesome to use. I think I've only used one once, and it was a couple years back on the Red River, and it was just we're on some sauger feast, and they're just coming in like crazy, and you had your holes going. These saugers are coming out of nowhere, and you just see them swim in. It's just an amazing thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's so intense that, a couple times we had bait drop off the hook because we set it too late, and you could actually see the air bubbles coming out of the bait as it hit the ground.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting to see how well that thing performs. And changing to the lithium battery, I know we kind of talked about it before the show.
Yeah,
Man, what a game changer! I don't know if I would have been too keen on dragging that unit around today the way I did if I had to change that. So
yeah. No, our friends at Backwoods Lithium. Hopefully, we can get them in the new year. But we got a big giveaway announcement for January, so that'll be awesome. And he'll touch on batteries for your boat and your ice gear, just showing you the advantages and the weight and everything too.
do you run lithium in your boat, Mitch?
Yes, now I do, and
Wow,
it's amazing. Even in my tinny, I wish. What are you throwing nickels at me?
everyone gives me the gear for upgrading to a Pan Optics. Man, you went lithium for the boat.
I asked Erin last night or the night before, and she thought it was around $1,000, and she was like, I was guessing high, and so
Yeah.
I just looked back down at the ground.
That's funny.
But yeah, so Adam, you get out this weekend?
I'll be getting out this weekend. I was out this past weekend. I was chasing some brookies there, and
Oh yeah,
had some luck. We were after some rainbows too, and went and got a limit of those. So that made for a good feast. But yeah, the trout are still on. I
yeah.
mean, we're coming to kind of the end of that season, and the fish are still there. So it's working out all right. And man, I wish I had that live scope. That would make things a lot easier because I'm drilling a heck of a lot of holes, moving around an awful lot, and trying to
Well,
find those
you know,
fish.
it's actually funny. I've gained a lot of friends or potential friends since we got that. So I'll just have to see where you're at on the VIP list. We'll have a conversation.
Hey, man. If that's how you think of me now, I'm sad.
Don't you know he has that rope up around his ice fishing shack now? And the bouncer sitting there with the carpet?
I'm going to have to
Adam
tell
will
him
always
this.
be top of the VIP list because he knows that every time we fish, he's the dude dragging my gear. So, you know, he's the one that likes to run circles around me and just show how, you know, efficient he is in packing gear. So you already know you're top of the list, bud.
I'm going to be the one sitting there at the screen going, 20 feet that way, 20 feet that way. Drop down 20 feet that way, Todd. Go, 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 go. And I'll just sit at the screen the whole time yelling at it.
Yeah, take your medication because you're going to see a lot of shiny things. Hey, Scott, tell Paisley I said hello.
Oh, I already have comments up. I'm a horrible person.
That's all right. I won't judge you.
I don't even know how to do that. You guys are fancy.
Todd's double screening, I think.
No, I have you on one screen. Adam, if you're full screen, that'll probably prevent you from seeing comments.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
Either way, hi, everybody. Anybody who comes on, it's good to see you guys.
Yeah. So let's talk location. If you're going to a new lake, what are you looking for? How are you prepping for that lake and the species you're prepping for? Adam?
Well, I just called Todd and say, bring that live scope. Let's go. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. When I'm looking at going to a new lake, first thing I'm going to do is hop on Google and look for a bathymetry map. So basically what that is just a depth chart. It's going to show me all the contours of the lake. Going to show me kind of where I'm going to want to set up it and go from there. You can look at Google Map or Google Earth. If it's a clear lake, you're going to be able to see some structure. If it's really murky, you're not really going to be able to see a whole lot. So the bathymetry map comes in a little more handy there. But if you got a clear lake, sometimes you can see some big points dropping out, and you can kind of fish off either side of them or set up on the end of them and hammer some fish. But the bathymetry map is probably my number one tool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And do you use that? I guess we use that for all fish on any lake.
Yeah, absolutely. I drew one up. Look, Mitch thinks I'm a dork. I drew one up.
I
But
did.
like,
I thought it was a unicorn. I thought it was a unicorn at first.
That's weird. I thought it was a constipated dog trying to take a dump.
It's your urinary tract for sure.
Oh.
Anyways.
After green beer, it looks like.
So like this white zone that I have here, it kind of goes all the way around the lake. Sometimes you can see it gets a little bit thicker, but that's kind of like your dead zone, like your 0 to 3 feet. Sometimes if you're chasing trout, you will be on the edge of that and that 2 feet of water kind of thing. But from that next zone down, we're going into that 4 to 10. So when you're looking at the map here, you can see there's kind of feeding flats, and feeding flats are kind of going to be what I'm looking for. So if it's trout, I'm looking for that 4 to 10 range. I'm obviously going to be on the shallower side of it during the day, early morning. But nighttime, guys, honestly, I'm having a lot of luck on my brookies moving out to that 10, 12 foot range. Just seems to be on fire for me. Fishing boy. Yeah, you got that, kid. Yeah, I see Wayne saying weed edges for sure. So we got those contours. And guys, if we're looking at walleye, we're kind of moving into that next step, which is like 11 to 16 feet. When you're talking that early morning, that evening bite, I'm in that zone there. And so you kind of got your feeding flats, but to break them down, like I really like being on that steep edge. So if you can kind of find like a steeper edge where the contour is a little thinner, is what that's going to show you. If you can be on the top of that steeper edge or maybe the bottom of it, depending on the depth, that's like a killer zone to try to find, because you got your spots, but finding your spot on the spot is kind of what's really going to increase your numbers or larger fish.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best things to do, if you're not marking fish within 15 minutes, you better move.
Absolutely. And especially with trout, like with trout, if I'm not marking fish, like unless I'm setting up a sight hole and trying to shoot a video or something cool like that, like I'm going to be like, okay, 5 minutes, bang, I'm out of here. If that, like sometimes like if it's early morning and it's go time and I know that the fish are feeding, it's bang, 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 bang. And a lot of times, guys, it's the same hole over and over again, but it's in like spurts, bang, bang, because those fish are coming through and they're like literally, if you watch them on the camera, a lot of times with brookies and rainbows, they're stacked in a line. They're not necessarily schooled out wide. They're stacked in a line and they're coming through. So the first fish might not hit you, but that second, third guy, bang, and then the school might go through unless you have like a jaw jacker and you're jigging, you can get crazy double action. But a lot of times, like I say, they're coming on a straight line path. So you kind of got to find that spot on the spot to be where they're cruising.
Yeah, they'll come through like a wolf pack. Those trout.
Absolutely, man.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah, because they're just voracious in the mornings and in the evenings. Like, they got to eat. They got to get it done. And then they want to get some rest for the night or whatever, or slide out a little bit deeper and kind of suspend for the day. But, you know, in the morning and the evening, they're feeding. So if you're not on them, you need to get on them.
Yeah. Don't be scared to move.
Absolutely.
I hate moving.
A big tool for me for moving this year is I know, Todd, you got one. Like I got an auger bit for my drill, and like for moving with that thing compared to my gas auger, I mean, I'm gonna have my gas auger for later season and stuff like that for sure. But that thing for moving and running gun, you can't beat it.
It's crazy
Huge
ridiculous.
Oh, it's a great
lighter.
investment.
Like early season, I just pack my rods, a backpack, and the drill in the other hand. Because you can cover so much ground, you don't got to pull nothing. You're just moving, locating, and catching fish.
And when you're on 4-6 inches of ice, you can drill. I mean, on those 5 amp hour batteries, like you're drilling 60 holes. Like if you're not kind of getting on them in 60 holes, then you're making too small moves. You really got to start jumping a little further.
Yeah. There's no fish in the lake.
This lake is dead. Winter kill, dead.
Yeah.
Fish in a small city pond again.
Todd, what were your tactics today for finding those fish?
Well, I don't know if I want to say anything now. I see how Broden's talking smack about me, but you know what? Honestly, like today, it was an area that we were pretty familiar with already, but we found that just, you know, with the area we were working, there was a pretty substantial trough, and the fish just seemed to be cruising that same section of water that was just consistent. We tried multiple depths and just found that, you know, the way they were funneling in and out of that area, we just targeted in almost a straight line and spread out about 20, 25 feet apart. Yeah. And there was nothing to it. Definitely targeting, you know, some of those weed lines has been important. But I think, you know, like Adam said, even for trout, the early ice bite, there's not much you can do really wrong outside of, you know, being in an area where, like you said, maybe there's no fish at all. But it was just bang on today. I mean, we iced 12 fish by the end of the day, which is in an area that you would not expect, you know, 4 or 5 decent sized fish would be a good day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and when you're fishing those pike, those feeding troughs, like you say, like they're just pushing bait up and down, back and forth, whitefish, perch, minnows, and they're just crushing them. So if you got your tip ups or you're set up on that line, I know what you mean, man. It's lights out.
Yeah, trout is a little bit different for me. I much prefer the inner side of a point, especially for some of the smaller water bodies that we target. Like for me back home in BC, there's something about trout and how they cruise when they're looking for food that I've always seemed to be productive on. You know, right off of a point to the inside edge, you're always going to catch a relatively decent sized cruiser coming by and setting up at a couple depths always helps. Mind you, BC's only one line, so you're really limited to what you can do.
Yeah. And I think sometimes when they're rolling that area, especially more territorial fish like a tiger or brown or brook trout, I think when they're doing those areas where those points hit, I think they do more of a circle and stay in that area. Like they focus on their area.
Yeah.
And sometimes rainbows will float a little more, go around and stuff. But I think those more predatorial fish will consistently be in that same area all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they definitely hold down their zones for sure. It was really strange though, like this weekend. So like my shack's like 12 feet long. So, and consistently so, I was setting it up so that it would be on a string of a depth. Like, sorry, not on a string of the same depth, but on a string of dropping. And on both lakes, one hole was the only hole that would produce. They were following that line, they were staying on it, and that's it. The only way I could get them to come off laterally was a rip and run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just water temperature or they just have that one feeding line. There might be a weed edge cutting them or.
Yeah, it's like rock and mud right there.
Yeah.
They're on the rock to mud edge is what's
happening. Yeah. I think they'll stay right on that because that's just a transition of different feeding, whatever they could be.
Right, and there's so many bugs coming up there for those trout to eat, right? So it's just full of food. It's a super good zone.
The pike were actually acting very similar today. We could have a hole 10 feet to one side or the other, but all day we had probably 80% of our fish produced out of one hole.
And Todd, I'm honestly, like, I'm super familiar with the zone you're in today, and I've caught 6 fish over 40 inches out of that area.
Yeah.
All out of the exact same GPS location, not 10 feet to the right, not 10 feet to the left. I put a tip up there and run them side by side, and that is it.
Yeah.
So, like, it's weird, man. Like, sometimes they just on it. They're on a specific, very, very, very specific pattern. And if you got to dial it in, especially if you want to get into the larger size fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To answer Scott's question, with the Fissy Fun Carbon X's, this is the 500, and it's just 2 spins. Actually, I didn't even have it that loose, but it folds up down right away and 2 spins, so it goes in. The drag on these things are awesome. It's set really loose because it's 4 pound, but I have a couple 2000s and everything I use for walleye and pike, and it's a super, super great reel, same as the Honor XT. Both perform great. The drags are amazing. Like, we used them for Lakers last year, and I used them up north for Lakers. And it's just such a smooth drag. And as long as you have that drag set up good, you get those mad hook sets. They're just ready to bang your buck. Those reels perform crazy.
Yeah,
we should be careful though, Mitch, because I do know Paisley actually won a Piscifun reel this fall.
Oh,
so it could be maybe Scott's thinking about stealing it from her to turn it into an ice reel. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
I have the Carbon X myself, and I really like that reel. I think I have the 1000, and I use it for walleye, open water, and I was using it for trout the other day, and it was man, I really liked it.
Yeah, even the Viper, it's lower on the cost, but still great drag. Yeah. Actually, there's one right back here. I think this is one of the first ones I got from them.
Okay.
But this is like before it was the Viper, it was the Venom, but still, I've had this for 4 or 5 years and it keeps going strong.
Great reel, eh? Right on.
Yeah, that's good.
So what are you using for lures right now if you're targeting walleye, Mitch? If you're chasing walleye, say early morning, late at night?
Since they're still aggressive, I'll rip cranks.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
And I'll have it's stuck in everything right now anyways, but I'll rip cranks like
That live target.
Yeah, those live targets are deadly. I got I've caught so many. You get that shad colored one. It works perfect down south. It works perfect where there's even up north. As long as the bait fish matches, they work good, and they're annoying. They're so loud.
Like early morning, evening, late at night. I like those big ones. Afternoon, number 5 slab wrap. Oh, walleyes love that. Oh, just downsize a little bit. Oh,
What is it? A slab wrap?
yeah. It's just a little different shape. It doesn't have quite as much rattle to it. Oh, sorry.
Are those like the Lindy ones?
No, that's from Rapala. But they're money.
Yeah, the Lindy ones are a very similar shape as well. I got a few of those.
Oh, the Lindy Darter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice lure. But spoons, you fishing spoons much?
Spoons, I'll use more of a fluttery spoon.
Yeah.
I won't use anything too heavy.
Yeah.
The Cyclops lights are actually phenomenal flutter spoon that not a lot of people use.
Yeah.
I know there's the Cyclops that a lot of us use typically open water, but ice fishing the Cyclops light, they make a yellow chartreuse one that is just dynamite for walleye.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a fast attach clip and just a minnow head on it, and they smash those.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, even Brown's Angling's got these cranks too. They work great too.
Yep.
Okay. Right on. Those are nice.
As well.
Yeah.
Good colors.
As far as annoying,
no time to eat it.
I'm a kamuki guy, so for walleye, especially ice fishing, the Glow Tiger with just some bait scent on the tail, it's always my go-to for walleye, even when the bite's slow.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting you say that. So this weekend, I was sitting there and I was fishing rainbows. Well, rainbows and tigers. But anyways, I was fishing rainbows and tigers, the same slab wrap, all white.
Yep.
And I'm ripping it, and I'm sitting there to myself, because I got a minnow dead sticked on a tungsten next to me, and they keep eating it, and they wouldn't come to it. I have this shrimp flavored Atlas Mike stuff, and I put it on my worms when I fish sturgeon sometimes, and I smeared it all over it. Bang, 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 5 in a row, man.
Yep.
Sweet.
It was unreal.
I've actually gone so far as to test it a little bit by starting my bait scent on the nose of the hook.
Okay.
Just to see if they will react to it.
Yeah.
And it's super active. I like to just do it to see if they will actually grab it instead of from the hook and from the nose. And you can actually direct how they're going to attack your bait by doing it that way.
Oh yeah, and that's why I love using Wonder Bread so much. A lot of the stuff I have here, I was talking spoons, I got the Northlands buckshot spoon and Wonder Bread. That one's killer. And then Wonder Bread rattle jig, because they'll key in on whatever color they want and just crush it, right?
I need some rattle jigs.
Some of those ripping wraps, in Wonder Bread, it's cool because they'll have the face one color, or the Acme Hyper Rattle or that they just released or whatever. And then you can kind of pick off what side that walleye is smashing it from. It'll actually really key in on what color you want.
Yep.
So if you pay attention to stuff like that, it seems to help.
Oh, definitely. Sometimes colors everything.
Rattle jigs too. Well, jig and a minnow, period. You glow that up, drop it down. Oh man, that's lights out for walleye. Watching them come up on the flasher, just keep lifting. Yeah. Watch the rod tip load. Money.
That's like everything, I think. On the flasher, if you're fishing anything, be aggressive till they come in. Then once they come in, just do a little twitch, bring it up slowly, and you're just waiting for that wake. That's all the whitefish were this weekend. They come in hot and heavy, then just slowly lift and pop them.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I pound bottom, love to pound bottom, almost anything I'm fishing. Pound bottom, lift. kind of kick it on the spot. That's why I use like non-slip loop knots and stuff like that, because the small movement really helps it to kick it on the spot. And then as soon as you got that mark, just start lifting. It lights out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that slow lift makes a big difference. Mitch taught me that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no,
that's why having a flasher is so key in my opinion. Because if you have a camera, and like, don't get me wrong, like a flasher you can also move around with. But if you have a camera and you're just sitting in your shack and you just have a flasher and you're just sitting in your shack, you only have so much you can see in a certain area anyways. So if you're lifting, eventually you lose them anyways. You can't see anything. Flasher, you can see the whole reaction, how high he's willing to come. And if he goes back down, chase him down, beat him down, pound it in the sand and lift, and know your limit for next time. So just twitch a little more on your way up, and I find it works.
Yep.
Yeah, make it dance.
Yeah.
Make it look like it's swimming away.
I got my camera to see if I can get some live action shots.
There you go.
Why not?
So whitefish. What do you guys like using for whitefish?
Oh.
Here, I'll X out of this.
2 seconds.
You have 2 seconds.
Mitch, you already know I have to X out this question, don't you?
Yeah. You're eliminated.
I've never targeted him through ice. That'll change this year. Although I said that last year.
This winter.
I'm an absolute wreck.
These little slender spoons. When they're going and they will crush it. Like I had some like swallow it right down on the weekend. Run 6 to 4 pound line on a medium light rod. And there is flies work good too. My dad's been tying these little bead head with green bodies that have been just killing them on the weekend. And also these wiggle worms made out of microplastic with a bead head. Like, look at the action. You don't even got to do nothing to these things.
Yeah,
and you just twitch this. These work awesome for trout and everything. But they're just, that's a go-to for trout, whitefish. If you just, like people think whitefish are so finicky, but half the time they're super aggressive. If you make them aggressive, they become aggressive, and that's how you get your bites.
Yeah, big time. I got stuff in my mouth. I got stuff all over my lap. Spoon, like you said, this one's my favorite. I don't know why, but it's a Blue Fox model. Wetaskiwin specials are also clutch.
Yep.
Throw a bunch of maggots on the bottom of this, or mealworms, and pound that in the sand. The key thing for me is 6 to 8 inches up, wire worm, or like you say, that squiggly worm that you had there, 6 to 8 inches up. So I'll beat that in the sand, and then they'll come in, like you say, and just start lifting. And I find, I don't know, 7 out of 10 times they're going to eat that wire worm once you stir them up with that spoon.
They're just seeing what's there, and they think that's what's happening. So
yeah, Williams Waller jig, yeah, for sure, Blake. I find like that spoon is the biggest thing, because like so many of my buddies are like, oh, you know, I see them, and like you can throw the wire worms on a jaw jacker next to you and just aggressively fish that spoon, and then those jaw jackers has the wire worms there, so they'll come in and eat that tiny spoon, or you got that second offering there. But I find the inline bug
are always on that wire worm.
Oh yeah, and then like the inline hook with the whether it be like a little shrimp pattern or what have you, I find that is key for them to target in on once you've kind of stirred them up with the spoon. Blake was catching whitefish yesterday, so we got to listen to Blake with the Williams.
Those tiny Williams with the dimples are crazy.
Yeah.
Before, I used to use them all the time. They work good for everything. They're a staple.
Those rattle baits, they come in and they slash at them. It's pretty cool, man.
I've always found them go more aggressive later in the season. Like you have your jig and minnow and stuff, and you'll catch them on a jig and minnow later in the season.
Absolutely. It's like when they come up shallow for that burb spawn or something like that.
Yeah.
They want way
I'll be right
more.
back, guys. I just had a thought.
Okay.
You know how thoughts work, right?
Everyone's just running out on you today, Mitch.
That's
What
fine.
are you gonna go get? This is exciting.
I might I might have to go poop. Who knows?
If you go poop, I'll start singing Fishing Boy.
Well, I was gonna try to figure out how to bring it up, but I think we'll just tell them at the end of the show where to find that and everything, so they can check you out. Because that's amazing.
You like that, eh?
No, it's classic. It's gonna go classic. Like,
It's gonna go cool.
what's that guy that's the rapping guy in Florida? That fishing guy.
Oh, I think his name is actually Fisherman Adam or something, isn't it?
I don't know, but maybe you guys
Or
can.
something. If we're thinking about the same guy, it's like the long-haired guy.
Yeah. I love fishing. That song. Yeah. Maybe you guys can do collabo together.
There we go.
Down in Florida on the beach or something.
Those guys live in Miami too. We can go hang out with them. Just do a sick song.
Oh man,
we'll
those
be
guys
world
would hit you
famous.
so much.
I'm a fishing boy.
Oh man, I don't even know how they think they're island boys when they live on a peninsula.
Yeah, that's like the funny thing. They live in Miami. They're like, oh, we're Puerto Rican. No, whatever. I don't know. It's not my business. But like it's weird, man.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But it's funny because there's people like me who like sit there and copy it and that's like kind of the reason why that song is probably like not obviously me, but that's why it gets so famous. Is so many people are like, oh, look at these morons.
That's the only reason.
Yeah,
definitely. That's
what do you got, Todd?
I got nothing.
Oh, sick.
Mitch had asked me to bring something for the show. Been up since 4:00 this morning, and I lost it last minute. Can't find it. Thought I knew where it was. Still don't know.
Can you tell us about it?
No.
Oh, okay.
It could still be a last-minute decision. You never know.
It very well might be. This is how I run my life.
All right.
If I find it before this weekend.
Yeah, because aren't you supposed to give it to someone?
Yes, in literal terms, yes.
Yes. But, so when you're going to that new lake, you found your location, you found that weed structure. Say we're going to target walleye. What are you going to put on first to try to lure them into that area or search that area?
Rattle bait.
Because
even if they're not going to eat it, it's going to bring them over. Like if they're in the area, they're going to come and check it out. So if you're paying attention to your flasher, or say you even have a camera down, you're going to see them come in. If you got a rattle bait down, they're going to come check it out. They may not eat it, but they're going to come check it out. So I'm going to have a rattle bait tied on for sure, and then jigging a minnow.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah, because Alberta too long.
You're going prepared with that. I'm like, I know I've gotten to that point now where, you know, I'll have a rattle on one, a spoon on another, and a jig on a third.
That's the thing. Is a lot of times like I'm running with 3 rods on my running gun sled. Three rods are going to be in my hand, and then I'll have my jaw jacker ready to go. If it's walleye or if it's trout, it's going to be a jaw jacker. If it's pike, it's probably just going to be a tip up.
Yeah.
Okay. But like you say, rattle bait, spoon, and jig and a minnow. Those are like 3 that I gotta have ready to go at all times.
Yeah, the jig in the middle is the floater.
And that's literally any species I fish. I just the size goes like this, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the fish. Yeah.
Send that vibration, send the flash.
Absolutely.
See what's there.
Yeah, the rip and wrap can be a little tougher on trout sometimes. Like sometimes it's not necessarily the best identifier. Sometimes it'll scare them off. That's why I like something that maybe more of like a blade bait style, where it's going to add some vibration and get them to come check it out, but not so much of a rattle to spook them.
Yeah, I'll just go to a flashy spoon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
make that
big
light,
time.
make that flash, put out that vibration, that subtle vibration.
Tingler spoon for me is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's big for me. No matter what I'm fishing, once again, walleye, trout. I mean, trout. If you watch any of my brook trout videos, almost all of them are gonna come on a red and gold Clio or a black and gold Tingler spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Acme Hyperglide. That's a great search bait. Whether it's there's multiple different companies that got all different sorts of like the Puppet Minnow from Northlands.
Yeah.
Just they cover so much water, right? Less holes to drill.
Yeah, a lot less.
Definitely a search tool.
Absolutely.
So say the bite's slowing down, it's getting that dead 11, dead 11 o'clock. What are you gonna do for that after that to stay on top of them? Are you gonna just tough it out, or
Bring the mat back out.
you gotta turn
Bring the
off the
mat
light?
back. This is like literally for me. This is like literally so important.
Oh, it's like seeing you in 4K without makeup.
Hey, baby. I'm an island boy. I'm just gonna keep saying that. It literally goes through my head so much now. It's insane.
You're addicted.
I'm so sorry to everyone involved right now. Anyways, so this black zone here, you notice this bottom black zone, you got a couple little over here, you kind of got like a little flat over here. You got a little flat up here. This is like your 16 to 20 foot zone. So this is like your 11 o'clock after you had your sandwich and you're starting to feel a little better. You're gonna go and hit that zone once you have your energy drink because you just slammed them all morning in that shallower flats. Now you got to slide off deeper and you got to downsize. Those
Yep.
same big rattle baits I find don't work mid afternoon.
Yeah.
It's not gonna work. But if you use that number 5 small one and you just kind of hammer it in the bottom, or like the Acme Hyperglide was a really good one. I didn't remember the gentleman's name that mentioned it there, but it's such a small profile and it's so dense. It gets down and it just covers so much water. It's back and forth and back and forth. They work great because it's such a small profile.
And once you get it down, that flutter, it brings it such more that slower action. It's not going down like a puppet. It's not going like a jig and wrap. You have that slower momentum, and it's just going. It doesn't have that aggressive dive.
Yeah.
So I think we can get quite a few more afternoon fish on them.
Yeah, on those hyperglides there when they just dive like that. That's sick, eh? That's such a cool bait. Acme's coming out with some really good ones. What's the one this year with the upsized back hook there? I'm really interested in trying that. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Bring it up.
But wow, is that ever cool? Because my biggest problem with those baits is I lose a lot of fish on them. And I think a lot of guys will say the same thing, or maybe they're way better than me and they don't lose any fish ever. But I lose a lot of fish on jig and wraps. It's just hard to keep fish pinned. And that new Acme bait has an upsized back hook. And I think that hyper hammer, yeah, that's it, Zach. That's it. The hyper hammer. Tom Boley uses it all the time. Big upsized back hook. I think that's really going to keep fish pinned for me.
I saw on the, was it the chatter wraps from Rapala last year with the rattle in the middle? They had that front treble that had that huge front hook on it.
Yep.
Oh, the Clacken wrap.
Yeah.
They discontinued that, but I actually have a few of the different colors that are still good, and they are really good because it's not so aggressive.
Yeah.
I have a few
like a knock
for Lakers that work really, really well.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, they have a really nice knock to them instead of the kind of brrrr. It's more of a knock.
Whoa.
Ooh, like a Sasquatch knock at night.
Sasquatch knock. Wah-bah! I'm beating up my Matt unicorn.
Who wouldn't want to buy a hook called a hyper hammer? I mean, that just sounds deadly in itself right there.
Right? They got some pretty cool colors too. Like I said about the walleye thing, they have one with like a blue head, pink back, and like a purple belly. So I think that would be fire.
Yeah, they do have a bunch of different colors on those.
The nice thing about them too, so I'm just knocking things here. I'm not very good fisherman, and I lose a lot of fish on the rip and wrap. And I also, the rip and wrap. I also break a lot of them. Does that happen to you?
No.
Like the tails on them?
The only thing I really break is the Rapala floaters chasing big pike. I usually lose a back hook sometimes when they crush them.
Yeah, I'm really bad for that. When I smack it off the water to get the weeds off it, I always break the lip off.
Oh,
And I'm like,
no
it's the bait's fault, but literally it's my fault.
do that on the boat of $15 wraps and see how happy you get quick.
Well,
But
we know how happy you are, Todd.
I know how annoyed you guys get when I do the old smash the water with the hook to clean off the weeds. Dino, it drives him nuts.
What does Dino call?
Books.
He's got a funny name for it. I can't remember what it's called, but it's funny. But yeah, I always break the tails on them. Like this tail is broken. Like it doesn't work no more. I don't know. It's just from smacking it into the rocks. Oh, nice. And the hyper hammer is a silicone tail, which is cool because that's not going to happen now.
And it looks like it's got a bead in the middle of the body or something there as well.
Yeah,
it's a rattle slides back and forth.
Yeah, man, that's super cool. I gotta buy it now that I know what Zach Davis uses to catch all his fish. I guess I'm gonna have to load up.
Yeah, he is a machine.
Fishing hole would be empty tomorrow if they had any at all.
No, they haven't. I was in there. I bought all the jaw jacker loops, but I didn't buy any of those.
You know, man,
I'm honestly surprised that they do because their online definitely says they don't.
They had them in there because I was looking at them. I'm like, look at this.
That's what I was going to ask you to pick up for me, Todd, when you picked up my recoil yesterday was hyper hammers. And I went and looked online and it said that they didn't have them. And I was like, oh, they don't have them. Now they have them. And now I don't have them. Now I'm sad.
Well, they were in store.
I will go look. I didn't see anything like. I wouldn't say it was slim pickings in there yesterday, but you could definitely tell that the new ice fishing crew had been through and cleaned up some stuff. So,
well, honestly, I think as long as it's not like frostbite stuff, you can probably get a hold of it. Frostbite stuff, there's a lot of fanboys out there that hard to get a rod, hard to get anything.
Actually, I don't think he's on here. Maybe I fished with him today, but Xander, he just got his frostbite order and it was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got a bunch of dinner bells.
Dinner bells.
Yeah.
Dinner bells got a couple of really nice rods at a really good price there as well. Yeah, he is. I'd be talking crap about him.
No, their new lineup of stuff I'm sure is great. They admit to having problems with all stuff.
Sure. So
I'd like to try a dinner bell. They look pretty good.
Saying
the dinner bell looks money.
Xander was actually saying today about how much he looks up to Adam, but I guess now that Adam's just called him a fanboy, that's probably not going to happen. So,
whoa, easy, Xander Pro, or what did you call him? Xander King.
Xander King.
That was sick.
Yeah.
No, those dinner bells, they look awesome. They're going to flutter, and with that action in the middle, it just looks like fins. It's going to put off more vibration.
Yeah, just metal and metal like that. And they have the tungsten one.
Oh,
that's cool. I need to get into some of these tungsten spoons. I'm not that fancy, right? Like, I'm like basic with the old Clios and the Tingler spoons. But when I get into these tungsten spoons, it's going to be handy. It's got to get down quick. Right now, I'm playing slow pitch.
I'm not even
get into fastball.
I'll have to look into those as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the spoons. No, like I find there's good spots for a heavy spoon, but most of the time I rather have a little slower spoon. I don't like the heavy drop. Like you can smash the bottom, but if you want that action just to bring it off the bottom, just to be like that minnow dying.
Yeah.
If it's not a crazy bite, I'd rather stick with a flutter spoon.
Yeah, if you don't have any, totally check out those Cyclops lights. They're big for ice fishing walleye, especially back east.
Yeah. So like I have a video from last year. I don't know which one it is, but I'm brook trout fishing or something. But I literally talk about the difference in like how your spoon goes up and down and how you flutter. And like I'll like mark fish in the video and be like, I'm using the heavy spoon. I can't catch it. Watch this. And I'll switch my rod over to the flutter spoon, drop it down, and catch a fish right away. Like it's wild.
Yep.
So like you definitely gotta have that action to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they love the clear.
Yeah. Sometimes they like it just to drop and be there. Then just twitch. Just
Absolutely, up
twitch
and
and
down
bring up
sometimes.
slowly. If you gotta get down quick, you gotta get
That's
down
when I
quick.
really like that.
Yeah.
That's when I like that buckshot spoon.
Yeah.
Buckshot spoon's money for that.
Buckshot
Yeah.
spoons are deadly for that, especially for perch.
And they work really good for whitefish too, actually. I didn't bring them up for whitefish, but that little rattle in there and the straight up and down like that kicks up a lot of dust, rattles a lot, and having that bug just above it. I've caught a lot of fish like that.
Nice. Yeah. If you can stir up the dirt and have the bug above it, man, trout killer.
Yeah.
Good to know.
I can't take rights to that one. Tash taught me that one.
Damn.
Tash is a whitefish slayer. I can't take that away.
So, with everything we talked about, so we've got our afternoon and everything. As soon as night comes around, what are you guys doing? Are you what are you gonna?
We know what Adam's doing. The dude's camping out because he's crazy.
Yeah, but say you got a couple hours left and you just moved out deeper. You're going for that lighter bite out deeper.
Yep.
Now that bite's started to go away. What are we going to focus on and how are we going to get those fish to bite again?
Walleye, I go right back to that Kamuki Glow Tiger. I mean, that thing, so long as it's dark light, that thing is indestructible. Early morning or late night bite.
Yeah. And you gotta start moving back shallower.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like
too shallow though, Adam.
I catch pretty big fish in 5-6 feet of water.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, 11 o'clock at night. Like, I mean, a lot of times, like, I don't set my shack up much deeper than 6 feet. So a lot of times when I come back to my shack for the night, which maybe it's 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm catching fish right in my shack in that depth of water, and like not like the odd one here and there. If I'm fishing just as hard as I was fishing outside, I'm catching just as many fish as I was catching outside.
And you've had some
maybe not that many, but like, because moving around is just, to me, like when you can run and gun those walleyes, like it really makes a difference at nighttime because they have great eyesight. If you can stay on them and just keep moving with that pod, because the pod isn't going anywhere. It's just moving around and around and around, and it's eating everything because they have to keep chasing everything back and forth. So if you can stay in front of them and act like they're chasing you all the time, you're just going to pick off fish nonstop.
Yep.
And what I do is I find sand. If I can find sand surrounded by weeds on all 4 circle corners, that's where they're going to be for me anyways.
That's where your bait fish moves. That's where they're going to be. They move shallow in that darkness. They're getting back into the weeds where they feel comfortable.
Yeah, I don't fish over weeds a whole lot unless it's afternoon.
Yeah, just staying close on.
Pretty deep. Like deep, sometimes you get those deep weeds in 20 feet, 18 feet of water, and you just can't get away from them, so you have to fish them, right? But
yeah, pocket fishing though.
Yeah.
Fish those little sand spots in the pockets of the weeds, and then you'll have minnows all around you all night. And
yeah,
and like when you're fishing, for instance, brook trout. Brook trout are like the most. We said they kind of stay in one area, right? So they'll move around, they'll feed that area. And what that area to me 9 times out of 10 is one of those sandy island kind of things in a pocket of about 5-6 feet of water. And if it's fully surrounded by some weeds into this late of winter, drop into that sand pile because there's going to be brookies coming through there and crushing. They're just waiting there, hiding, kind of avoiding the sun. and they're just going to come out and crushing those sand flats over and over and over again.
Okay. Since Kit won last week, he didn't want to accept his prize,
Ooh.
so he's giving it back for this week. A bunch of brown angling cranks, bucktails.
Whoa.
I put the camera on the different side today, and I can't deal with it. I don't know how my hands work, but two more here in perch color and a sucker color. So which one of you wants to make up the game for today?
Give her Adam.
Why? I literally made it up last week.
Oh,
The guy doesn't
did
want
you? Okay, I'll take it. It just so happens I have the perfect competition here. Anyone that already knows this answer because I bragged about it last night doesn't get to play.
How do we know that?
God, that's not too big.
So this is the battery that came with my Panoptics last week when I bought it. So this is a standard battery that you get in any of your ice kits. It's heavy. So if someone can guess what the weight difference is between this battery and the lithium battery I put in last night, they can win.
We can have the lead acid one?
Yep. Weight difference between. Oh, you want the lead
I don't
acid?
know the answer to this. I
Do you
don't know
need
the
a lead
answer to
acid
this.
battery? Is that what you're saying?
Well, sure.
Sure. Well, you already know the answer because I told you
Okay.
last night.
No,
So
I
we're
don't, though.
We'll cap this in the next. Let's see, what are we at? 1 minute. And whoever's closest to the difference between the lithium battery
Yep.
and the acid battery wins.
Yep. How many pounds lighter is the lithium battery than the stock?
And those new lithiums are just crazy. Weight difference and performance difference.
Yep.
Like, hands down, like, I'll take Tinny out. I got a battery that should weigh a ton more for me to carry into the lake, put in Tinny, when you got this little nice thing that's lighter than your tackle box.
Yep.
And you throw her in there and do a little backcountry fishing, like awesome travel units. And they last.
That's such a great story about it. You should.
It was
be
a good.
salesman.
It was a BC story, actually.
I'm like
We
gonna
had a
film you
dredge.
doing this.
Where I pulled Tinny into bass fishing this year, our cap spot was like this remote spot. Then we had our own personal launch, but it was a little ways away, and everyone was sleeping. So I just drug Tinny all the way over there, then loaded everything. But that battery is the lightest thing I think I had to carry, and it performed crazy.
Huh.
You and your 12.
That's wicked. Because those other like realistically, so if you got to troll a tinner, even with a 30-pound thrust motor, like the car battery, like marine batteries that you buy, like they don't last very long.
No, they don't.
Like if you got a troll on 2 or 3, you're screwed. You're fishing for like 6 hours, and I mean 6-7 hours for some people is great, but
30
like
pound.
I need days.
30-pound thrust on a car battery. I used it in my pontoon for a couple of years. On a good day, 6 hours is pushing it.
Yeah, like it's rough, man.
Yeah.
But that
I gotta get into
one,
this lithium life.
I think
I'm a fishing boy with a lithium battery.
It's just pricey. It is a pricey upgrade.
Adam, settle down.
I'm just waiting for him to get their
I
ass.
can't.
I thought he was going to come on with them.
So did I, yeah.
I thought he was going to be like, hey, boys.
If you really cared about your show.
Or had a spinner or something.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, just check out Adam's post.
Yeah, so Adam, where can everyone find your post from the other day?
It's on the Horseshoe Kid Instagram. Ow. and just go into my reels, and it's in there. And I got some sick tatties. I got dry or die tattooed on my throat. Target walleye tattooed on my
I
face.
do that for you, but maybe I'll just do the old vice grips.
I got a lot of weird holes in my face, but not on my nose.
That's what I heard.
How many can we stack on my face by the end of the show?
I don't know.
Is this a liability?
The guessing's done for the battery. Todd, did you see anything good?
Yeah, I think. Well, technically, we have a tie between Cody and Scott, so Cody's going to get the lead on that one just because Scott, he beat you to it. So technically, Scott, if you want to re-guess, we'll give you about 30 seconds. I don't know if you're there, but I would say that Cody and Scott were very, very, very close.
Okay, so we'll see if he re-guesses. If not, that's the way she works. Then you got to get your information to me on Northwest Ventures here, and then I'll get that out to you. And yeah, you got your prize
I'm
back.
definitely not going to be able to say bye.
Adam's joined a tribe somewhere. I don't know where.
I'm a fish stand by.
I believe they're called the Fishy Hooker tribe in Medicine Hat.
Oh,
yeah.
We get down.
2 down, I think.
So nothing with Scott. So Cody, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Gitzel was the closest. Going from a standard battery to lithium saved me 4.7 pounds. That's a lot of weight.
That's quite a bit of more fishing tackle.
Yes.
And snacks.
Yes. And with the Smitty sled, you can add even more weight. Just saying.
Yeah, no, yours looks like it turned out great. From what you're saying today, that's amazing.
Yep.
Do you want to touch base a little?
Yeah, worked out well.
As long as I'm going to do this, I'm going to cover the screen below me because I can't look at that hot mess. Yeah, so for anyone that's fished with me, I mean, last year I used an Evo 2IT flip over. We would load that thing up, and I mean, full weight was 240 pounds, and it was a beast. I would make Adam pull that thing back and forth like a workhorse a couple times a year. I built a new Smitty sled. I mean, I know it's kind of the thing everyone's doing. Everyone has their own ways of doing it. I mean, we loaded up 340 pounds worth of gear in that thing today. And I know he's still on here, Xander. You can send me that video. Maybe I'll post it. It is insane the difference based on point loading will make, especially for early ice when you're packing on. 340 pounds is a lot of gear.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Especially when you're pulling it against all that snow.
Half a day.
Yeah. So, Adam, your job will get easier this weekend because we're coming to see you.
Perfect.
Adam, any last words?
Not a whole lot. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm ridiculous.
Well, thanks for coming on an interesting show. I think we dropped a lot of knowledge and some, I don't know what this is, but it's okay. Ish.
Life hook on there.
We accept him.
Yeah, man. These are like a bunch of my favorite lures, realistically. And the Troubled Life spoon is really great for pike. And also, it's like, I'm being serious. One day I was like, I'm going to drop this giant swim bait down and see what happens. And I dropped the giant swim bait down, and a 40-inch pike came in and ate the giant swim bait, and it was awesome. So use giant swim baits for pike, use spoons, and my face hurts.
So what Adam's saying is screenshot this right now, get all of his favorite lures, and maybe you can send me a meme of all of his lures on his face, and we'll give you another prize package. We'll throw you some hooks or something.
What you should do, Mitch, is back you and I out of the show.
How do I do this?
Allow everyone to take a picture, and you can have a meme competition.
Okay, we're doing a meme competition. We're taking me and Todd out of this. If I can figure it out, then we'll be back in a second. Give me a sec. Oh, wrong button. Actually, no, that's the right button. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to do one of them. And that didn't work at all.
Okay, well, then everyone's just going to screenshot Adam by zooming in, I guess.
Yeah, that's the way it works. So take them down.
Hey, man, I'm in on
Get
this. I
at
know how
me.
to Photoshop.
So this week, get us that screenshot, and the best one wins. We'll talk about next week, and voters win on it. So, hey, great show, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you
I
after
hope
the show.
everyone actually learned something and I wasn't just ridiculous.
Oh, no, you're always ridiculous.
I try to help, but I also have this thing where I have like ADD or something.
Makes sense.
All right, guys, have a good night.
See you this weekend, Turnbull. Marcy and I'll see you
Bye,
Friday night or
everyone.
Saturday.
Cheers.
See you later, everyone.
I can't get it out.